Alright, what's up guys? New channel, first video, first take. Let's see how we can do. So I decided to sort of do this video in segments. There'll be multiple videos sort of covering the topic. I thought actually there is a need to cover this topic because I was watching a video from another creator who said this game has no soul. And I will find the link to his video and I'll put it down because obviously that's just, what we do. But I really sort of thought, it got me thinking, because it got really thinking, actually, this game, it doesn't have a soul. And yet it should, because it's an MMORPG. And the whole purpose of an MMORPG is to have a soul. It's to have a meaning, a world where you can disconnect from all of your realities and create a different reality. That is essentially the premise and meaning of an MMORPG, and it is also the aspect of the game that it profits from. You build a character that isn't you. You buy costumes that you probably wouldn't wear in real life. And you make yourself geared or aesthetically represented in ways that you feel is cool, and maybe you can't achieve that in real life. You probably can, but you feel like you can't, and that's why these games make money, because they sell us things that we want to be, that we feel we cannot be in real life. So I really want to sort of like talk about that. And that sort of premise of, actually, because I feel like when I look in the content space right now for Throne and Liberty, it's very positive or not being covered negatively. And I feel like that's only the case mostly because people are just like grinding it out right now, right? Like they want to keep making content, keep getting views, keep upping their numbers on their channel until the next thing comes along and they want to jump on that. That's cool. I'm sure we'll all be there at some point I'll probably be there 5 years from now if I keep making videos, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. But I do think that, my entry into this space is actually going to come from, let's talk about the negatives, not just in a sense of, hey, this thing sucks, but let's talk about why it sucks and why it shouldn't be that way. So, I want to talk about that, and I'm going to give some premise to me. So the premise to me is that, like you guys, I've played MMOs all my life. Maybe some of you out there are a bit older than me. You might have played some of those first era MMOs. My sort of entry was around maybe 2007, 2008. I'm sure some of you guys will be like 2000-ish. Yeah, I've been around, I've played the games, and I've got an understanding of what went well, what didn't went well. And I've paired that now recently with being at university with marketing and sort of having a different view on the world, a different understanding of sort of like why certain things matter, even though they seem like they shouldn't, and why certain things are done in a certain way. So that's a little bit of premise, a little bit of introduction. I'm going to try and get on to now the topics I want to cover. I am going to cover topics such as user interface, user experience, gameplay loops, combat, group combat, guild content, Lucent, the auction house, Amazon Studios as a studio, and we're going to cover those segments in different videos because I do actually want to get into a little bit of detail. And I did give it a go with detail, and then I saw I was at 50 minutes and I was like, I don't want to put my first video at 50 minutes, so we're going to break it down. So this is a first take, but we're going to segment it technically. Right, so user interface, user experience, why does it matter? I'm going to try to be really quick with this because I ramble a lot and I don't want the video to be long. So the reason it should matter to you and you should think about it is because, not because a lot of people, when they think of user interface, they think about, is it ugly? Is it serviceable? Does it do what I want it to do? And I really like to sort of talk about I like to put metaphors to each sort of topic, if I can, if my brain allows me to have the creativity to sort of allow people who maybe don't think like I do or in the way that I might do, to understand what I'm trying to explain. So I want you to think about user interface and user experience in the same way that you think about a car. Now, a lot of people, when they think about cars, or if you're asked about a car, they say, I only care if it gets from A to B. I only care if it's got cheap insurance or if it is affordable, etc. Right? Now, actually, you know, a sort of lot of market research would actually say that it's not true. Now, or that those things would be true, but not to the extent that we actually believe them to be true. In the sort of sense that actually we might think about cars in the sense of, or a car, in the sense of, you know, how is the steering wheel the right visual setting for me? Is there too many buttons on it? Is there not enough buttons? Is my accessibility with the chair, with the steering wheel spacing, with my access to the window buttons, like these are all subconscious sort of feelings that we don't actively think out in our mind and talk about, but we are actually engaging with them as concepts and things that are sort of interacting with our mind. And it's the same with a game. So here you go. Wow, here we go. The user interface and the user experience of Throne and Liberty. In my opinion, I'm going to class it in the sort of tier, maybe in the future if I cover more videos and more content, we can maybe have a tier list, but I'm going to confidently put Throne and Liberty's user interface experience at a ranking of absolutely atrocious in every way. Okay, so when we just think about it in a simplistic way of, does it do what it is intended to do? If I click this button, does it do that thing? And does that thing, is it explained? Does it make sense? Okay, yeah, it does do that. But I want you to think about what game you're playing here, guys. Come on, like, we're playing an MMORPG. The key letters being RPG. Okay? What do those words mean? Role playing game. Okay? So the game part is just the function of what we're doing, what it is. So we don't have to like cover that necessarily. So I want to cover the role playing aspect. Now I'm not talking about dressing up as Shrek on Halloween and going out and pretending to be Shrek, you know, the ogre of the swamp. I'm not talking about that, guys. Not in that sense. I want to talk about like the connections that we establish to a world. You know, what is the meaning of an MMORPG? You know, that role play part, whichever way you interpret it and fulfill it, it is the most meaningful part of the game. Okay, whether you're fulfilling that through being a part of the most serious, hardcore, dominant PvP guild, or being a casual social player that hangs out with his friends or her friends or their friends, or, you know, guild, whatever, right? Whichever way you're trying to interpret that, the fact that you are interpreting that is key to your experience in such a game. So imagine having a user interface or a user experience that comes from a user interface that detracts you from that and detaches you from that every day. So I've opened up the user interface here. Now, I guarantee that a vast majority of you are going to do only two things, right? The first thing, when you load into this beautiful world that has been designed by someone or a team of people, right? It is a beautiful world. Like, it really is. Look around. Like, if I look at this scenery, like, I've got this large town castle. What's going on here? This is clearly a major town, right? This really matters. You know, there's windmills in the distance. There's small villages. You know, what is over there? Are there NPCs over there? Are there bosses, monsters, caves? You know, like, what should I discover? What's this large castle? Is there going to be a mega boss there? Is it going to be, you know, a town area? Like, what's this lighthouse? Can I travel over there? Is there a meaning to travel over there? You know, there's just beautiful scenery. Like, the fact that the start of this video was there was no user interface, and you probably didn't question that. You probably just thought, hey, that's Throne and Liberty, and there's a guy talking about it. You didn't think, why doesn't he have a user interface open? Blah, 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 blah. Because it doesn't leave your subconscious mind because of how well designed it is. When something is done perfectly, you don't think about it. Okay, I want you to understand that, because if you think about anything in a game more than, say, a couple seconds or more than once, that system is technically flawed. Now, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, you know, some things are just really, 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 really difficult to do really well. And there is sort of a limit as to how well you can do something, to the point that it can never be perfect. And you'll always will have moments that they think about it or have to engage it on a daily basis. Right. So let's talk about those two things. Those two things are your little red dots over here, guys. Come on. You know you're clicking these every day. Wow, I'm in this beautiful world. Now I'm on a check-in page. Oh my goddamn Amatoy. How much salt am I going to get today? Or what about this? How about a job rota? Because, you know, you've just come home from work. Now here's a rota to tell you what you can and can't do at times of the day, when you can do them, if you should do them, maybe you can't, maybe you shouldn't. It doesn't want to tell you that. Here's what you're going to do, and this is when you're going to do it, and this is how you're going to do it. Okay, that's your job. Be a good consumer, give us our battle pass money, open your little red dots, open your little rota, and do as you're told. Okay, that is the mindset that they're imposing on you subconsciously, but you don't think about it. The second thing, you've hit escape. Holy fuck, I now have this menu that has like 20-30 buttons on it. All of them actually matter, which is the disgusting part about it. The fact they've actually managed to design a UI where things do matter to click on them, but it shouldn't have to be. It, like, the fact it's taking up a third of my screen. Okay, yeah, okay, maybe you can put it in transparency, whatever, but that's not the point. The point is, it's taking up a third of the screen, and all these things matter. You know, you gotta start from the top. I guarantee you open this, right? From 1 to 49, your life is, open this. There's a stat point that I can't assign because I don't have enough stat points. Now I have a goddamn red dot there forever and it frustrates me. Or maybe you've got to do something like leveling up a skill, or you forgot to take a certain mission, or you didn't finish a certain mission, so now it wants to red dot you. You go on your battle pass and, oh hey, you've consumed 20 trees of life, so you must go and click this red dot to receive your 10 crystals. Like, open the shop because we've put something new in there. Red dot, red dot, red dot morph, red dot mirror boutique, red dot your secret dungeons, your co-op dungeons, your leveling log. Red dots everywhere. Your weekly mission, your guild's trying to tell you something. Hey, you got a mail, open your mail. Now look, some of these things do matter, guys, I get that, but the point I'm trying to make is that they're attacking your subconscious mind. They don't want you to connect with this game as a world. It doesn't matter, okay? Like, if it mattered, then none of this would be this way. You wouldn't have this red dot system from a mobile game. You wouldn't have this rotated schedule that tells you when you can and can't do certain activities in the game. You know, it's disgusting that I would exclude world bosses, but I think it's disgusting that people who have jobs or lives or just other shit to do that is better than this game, that want to play this game, can't do raids, can't do certain types of PvP. You know, you can't do those things unless you're playing at a certain time of the day. It's crazy to me that we're in a world now where, like, that is acceptable. All right, so let's touch on some things. So yeah, I want to talk about, you know, user interface. We talked about how, like, you know, it's completely obliterating your brain. And the thing is, why that matters is not because, like, you know, they don't have some, like, secret agenda against your subconscious mind. That's not what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at here is that the user interface and the experience of that interface, it tells you how much they care about you as a consumer and how they see you as a consumer and how they want you to feel. Now, an example of this, a quick example, you know, tech companies, Google or whatever, They will spend millions and millions of dollars on wages, think tanks, creative meetings, etc., right, to figure out just the most minuscule adaptation to their search engine page based on user interface and experience, because they know that you are the essential component of their company. Without people using that search engine, the value of Google as a search engine, but also as a company, significantly drops. Okay, maybe not to zero, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. But it would significantly drop, because so they know that you are the thing that matters, which is why they focus so much resources on it. So when you see games that tell you when to do things, tells you when you can't do things, tells you you must click on this, here there's a red dot, you must click on this, you know, stop focusing on that thing that you want to do, that quest that you're completing, that dungeon you're finishing, that loot you're trying to get. Stop thinking about that. Click this red dot now. Okay, that they're communicating something to you, which is like, they don't actually care about you. You don't matter. And when you realize that and you think, hang on, I'm playing an MMORPG where I'm trying to create a character that creates friendships with other human beings in this world, right? And I'm trying to role play that character into a certain position in this world, whether it's PvP, whether it's a guild leader, maybe it's just to be the best geared player, maybe it's to be the best player or whatever, right? You're trying to role play yourself into a certain position. You may not use the word role play based on the type of position you're trying to get into, but essentially that's what you're doing. You're trying to role play yourself into a position in that world. And when you think about the fact that from the very beginning, the people that are providing that world to you don't care about you as a player, as a consumer, a customer, they don't care about you at all. You'll quickly sort of realize that this is not a great game. It's not made by a great company. I know it's quite standard for Korean games to be very grindy, you know, not really player focused. It's more focused on here the systems and stuff like this. And that's why these games don't really rub well in the West, and they ultimately usually fail. So yeah, that's my take on user interface, user experience. You know, I want you to think about the red dots, what it's telling you to do, what not to do. Why does it keep taking you out of the world and disconnecting you from this experience? It shows their inexperience of what, you know, design, management, and sort of like their take and understanding on that. Okay, so that's the first part of this sort of series of where I'm gonna negatively cover this game. That doesn't mean there's not good things. I'm not going to talk about the good things because there's lots of far better content creators than me who are talking about the good things, right? And if you want to hear good things, you can go find it out from them, because they're the best source to find it out from. And you should want to find it out from people that are feeling positive. That's not what this video is for. You know, if you're feeling positive, don't watch these videos because they might make you feel negative. And I don't want that. I don't want you to feel negative. If you feel positive about the game right now, I want you to stay feeling positive. So look guys, if you enjoyed the video, as you know, YouTubers say, do the likes, do the subscribes, drop the comments, question me, put the dislikes on, anything to give the video a little bit of traction and the future videos a little bit of traction. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm not trying to be like some YouTuber or some large YouTuber, but I do want to hopefully reach an audience with these videos that is at least big enough that some kind of discourse can maybe start with how we feel and think about these sort of things, so that, you know, because once these companies realize that we understand these things and are aware of these things, they will actually stop taking advantage of us on these things. That's why I care about this thing as a topic. It's not that I hate this game. It's just I want to spread that sort of mindset and hopefully reach some people. And the more people that are reached, they might reach other people, or the video might reach other people, and we can go from